Isang masayang pagbati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pagre-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayun din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9:00 ng umaga hanggang 7:00 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Good afternoon once again. Good afternoon, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And we are back with English 7 for ETUlay. And good afternoon, Tutor Arnel.
Yeah, good afternoon, Tutor Drazel. We missed you last time.
Yes, I know. I really have to spend that day for a very important cause.
Yes.
So I'm very sorry I missed our last Tuesday for the first quarter. But of course, I will not miss the first one for the second quarter. So again, let me greet everybody. Congratulations for passing your first quarter. And I say good luck to the second quarter.
Right.
Okay. So while we are waiting for the screen to be shared, let me just greet our first viewers here, our early birds. We have students from Novaliches High School,
Mm-hmm.
Diamantina National High School, Llano High School, and of course from Mangahan High School. We also have some schools here from SDO Pasig, and we are also, we have from Novaliches High School, and then from Aphrodite, Apollo, Iolus, Kratos, and Aphrodite, and some more from other sections of grade 7, and Actually, I have one student to greet. I'm sorry, Tutor Arnella.
Yes,
This is a
it's okay.
commercial because one of my students, yesterday, I think, he asked me if I can give him a special shout out. So I promised that
Wow.
I'll be giving him a special shout out. Sabi niya, he really feels good daw every time I would be mentioning his name on our live sessions. So let me just give a special shout out to Judah Alvarez. Hello, Judah, and
Hello,
always I
Judah. Good
thank you for
afternoon.
always viewing and always watching us. So now let us have our screen, Tutor Anel.
Yes, sure, Tutor Drazel.
Okay, so again, we would like to introduce ourselves to you. I am Tutor Drace, and I will
Yes.
be the mentor for English 7. And here with us is.
Of course, your tutor Arnell with Tutor Drazel.
Okay, and we're both from the Schools Division Office of Pasig, and we are your guide every Tuesday. That's from 1:40 to 2:20 p.m. with the rest of the English High School junior, or I mean English Junior High School team. So for this afternoon, our topic will be using listening strategies based on purpose and text familiarity and difficulty. This is already quarter two, week one, and our reference for our module. Let me give sincerest gratitude to the Department of Education, Socsargen region, for allowing us to use their module one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, for this afternoon, it's going to be Tutor Arnell's time to shine because you will be leading us for this afternoon. So I will be leaving now. No, actually, I'm not going to leave. I'm still on the backstage and I'll be observing Tutor Arnell. And I will be, of course, with you in spirit because I will not be appearing on screen. I will allow Tutor Arnell to be your guide for this afternoon. And I very well know that you are in good hands. So, Tutor Arnell, take it away and good luck. And again, good afternoon, everyone, and happy learning.
All right. So thank you so much for that, Tutor Drazel. So just like what Tutor Drazel mentioned earlier, my dear students, our focus today would be purely about listening. And of course, as we start our lesson, it's important that we will identify the objectives of our lesson for quarter two, week one. So the first for our cognitive objective is you have to identify the key active listening techniques. So you will find out which or what are these key active listening techniques that I'm talking about. So the next for our emotions, okay? So we're going to talk about suggestions of practices that encourage one's practice of active listening. And for psychomotor, we have the exhibit active listening skills through virtual participation in the class. So that's definitely I definitely appreciate it. And at the same time, I would love to see your reactions and comments in our comment section as we are having our lessons. Okay, so of course we will not be having our featured tuty, or we don't have our review for today because we're just having our first lesson for this quarter. Now allow me to present to you about the celebration that we have for today. November, last time I told you that November is also the National Reading Month, but that's not the only celebration that we have for November. So November is also a month for you, all right? So it's the National Children's Month. And same thing with the National Reading Month. This is a very important because this declaration commemorates the adoption of the Convention of the Rights of the Child by the United Nations General Assembly on November 20, 1989, and seeks to instill its significance in the Filipino consciousness. All right. So, yeah, so it's really for you. It's very important that we are going to instill to everyone that even though you're a child or even though you're young, you are still important and essential. Now, there's a theme for this particular celebration. So, new normal na walang iwanan, karapatan ng bawat bata ating tutukan. So, that's the theme for the celebration of National Children's Month. So, later on, you will be having some activities that has something to do with the celebration of the National Children's Month. Okay, so let's begin our lesson. So the activity that we will start to do will be true or false. It's very simple, but there is a direction here or directions. Type in true if the statement given is correct. And of course, if not, you have to type in false. So I'll show you the first sentence. The first one is our personal filters, assumptions, judgments, and beliefs can distort what we hear. What do you think? Is it true or false? So you may start typing your answers. What do you think? It says here our filters, assumptions, judgments, and beliefs can distort what we hear. Mhm. So let's see your answers. Okay, so one of our students, Mark, typed in true. How about the others? Okay, Janet, all right, said it's true. All right, Dylan said it's true. All right, William said it's true. Christine Joy Barbeccio says it's true. And I guess the rest of you answered it's true. So when we listen or when we hear something, it says that our personal filters, assumptions, and judgments affect it. So let's see if that is correct. Okay, good job, students. You were able to get it correctly. That is true. And you will know later why your answer is correct. So, number two, as a listener, your role is to understand what is being said by the speaker. So, since we're talking about listening today, and we're actually talking about listening today, well, is it true that the role or one of the roles of the listener is to understand what the speaker is telling you? All right. So is it true or false? So don't forget to write the number before your answer. Okay. So I'm seeing answers now. So Janet typed true. William said it's true. And Jade Gazingan said it's true. Okay. So let's see if all of your answers are right. Okay, yes, that's also true. All right, so as a listener, it's very important that we are listening to our speakers, whether it's a teacher, your parent, your friend. That shows that you respect or love the person you are talking to. All right, the third one, interrupting limits full understanding of the message. All right, is it true or false? Interrupting limits full understanding of the message. Okay, so I can still see a lot of you typing in true. How about the third one? Okay, so Janet was the first one to type in her answer. She said that interrupting limits full understanding of the message. All right, true said. Dylan, Mark, John, Ariel said true. Stephanie said it's true. John Ronald said it's true. And let's see if that's the correct answer. Yes. Okay, the correct answer is true. Okay, so let's proceed to the fourth one. Use your own body language and gestures to show that you are engaged, all right, with the conversation. So body language, gestures, the movements of the hands, that those are the examples of gestures. So uh, it says here that it can actually make us or show us that we are engaged with conversation. So the first person to type in the answer for number four is all right, so fast. John Kirchebat, okay, he said it's true. All right, it's all mixed up now. Okay, so Mark said it's false. John Ronald Apuyan said it's true. I'm sorry, Mark, you said true. Yeah. Okay, so Shan River, true. All right, I guess most of you typed in true. Let's see if your answers are correct. Okay, so that's correct. It's true. Okay, so I'm glad that you were able to type in all the correct answers for number four. And for number five, active listening is designed to encourage respect and understanding. Is it true or false? Okay, so still typing their answers. So for number five, is it true or false? Okay, so Mark said it's true. Okay, John Kirchebat said it's true. Clara de Castro said it's Okay, that's for number 4, Clara. Okay, so RC Hernandez said it's true. Katrina May Pilapil said it's true. Let's see if their answers are right. Okay, good job, students. So, well, I have put all of these sentences all together? It's because it has something to do with our topic. Okay, so our topic will be focused on what we call, all right, the key active listening techniques. All right, so the rest of it, okay, the ones that we used in our early activity. So let's see what we have here. So I have a Venn diagram here which talks about the difference and similarities of reading and listening. All right, so it says here, while listening and reading share many comprehension processes, there are differences in a way the information is processed. So that's according to Absalom and Rizzi 2008. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so both reading and listening are receptive skills. All right. So, students, when we say receptive skills, it's like we are receiving information in a different manner. So, if we read, we get information, and at the same time, we receive as well when we are listening. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Okay, so students, let us see who got a perfect score from our earlier activity. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so let's see. For those who got a perfect score, can you send me a heart react now? All right, we will continue. Let me just see who among you got a perfect score from our activity. So all of you who got the correct answers correctly. Can I see? All right. So thank you so much, Kian, John Ronald, Samantha, Danette. All right. Rizal Caballero, Glory May Cabarce, John Kurt Shevat. All right. So you guys are good. All right. You were able to get all the correct answers. Good job. All right. So I'm so excited to present to you the lesson that I forgot to ask you whether you got a perfect score or not. But I am so happy that you were able to get a perfect score. Oh, somebody got 4, but it's okay. Don't worry about that. Okay. So, yeah, going back to our lesson. So, just like what I've said, reading and listening are both receptive skills. So, pag sinabi nating receptive, meron tayong tinatanggap, receiving. So, when we read, we get information from what we read. And when we listen, we also get information from the one who is talking. Okay, so let's see what we have about the difference of the two. So when we are reading, readers often remember more details because you can go back to the text. Di ba when you are reading, for example, you did not understand what you are reading, there's always a chance that you just have to flip the page back, tignan nyo lang yung mga nabasa nyo in the past, and you read it slowly, you read it fast, it depends on you as long as you are receiving the necessary information that you are getting from the textbook or probably from the module that you are reading. So that's for reading. However, it's different with listening because listening or the listeners, when they are practicing their listening skills, construct understanding as they listen and often come away with the overall understanding of ideas. So look at this class. Listeners construct understanding. So may pagkakataon when we listen or when we hear something, we tend to have what we call the reflective mode muna. Parang iniisip muna natin or tinatansya natin if what we heard is right or wrong. Okay, so it's very important that we have to understand first what we heard bago tayo nagre-react because there is definitely what we call a disadvantage if we reacted without us understanding what we heard, right? So minsan nagkakaroon ng misunderstanding and at the same time, we don't give the right answer to the question if we don't understand the things that we listened first. So very much important that we are understanding everything. So Mark Platon said both are included in the 5 macro competencies. That's right, Mark. Good job. Okay, so let's proceed. So for us to avoid yung misunderstanding na sinasabi kanina ni Tutor Ernell, we have to talk about what we call the 5 key active listening techniques. And what are these, class? The first one is we have to pay attention. All right, bakit kaya nasa number one yan? Because paying attention is very important. We will deal with that later. Number two, you have to show that you're listening. So now that we are virtually having our class, hindi ko kayo nakikita kung ano ginagawa niyo right now. I am just believing and I am just referring to your responses, okay, that you are listening, okay? And of course, we have the third one, provide feedback. You will know later what does feedback mean. And of course, number four, we have deferred judgment. And number five, we have to respond appropriately. So remember those five key active listening techniques that we are going to discuss this afternoon. Okay, so let's check what do we have for number one. So pay attention. So it says here, give the speaker your undivided attention and acknowledge the message. So, kanina, I already told you that listening is equivalent to understanding as well, because when you did not listen to what you are, or what I mean is when you don't understand what you are listening to, it's like hindi ka rin nakinig kapag hindi mo naintindihan yung pinapakinggan mo. So it's very important that you have your undivided attention. Pag sinabi nating undivided, you are not doing anything that will distract you from what you are listening to. So ngayong online, it's very easy that you get distracted because you don't see your teacher right in front of you. So you have your laptop, you have your phone, okay? So you are tempted to do something while having the discussion, 'di ba? So, well, you will benefit from it if you're going to listen actively, or you will listen carefully by focusing only to the message of your teacher or any speaker you have. So just like what we have right now, you can easily give an answer to my questions if you are going to listen attentively. So another is recognize the nonverbal communication. Recognize that nonverbal communication also speaks loudly. Ayan, so it's not only the voice, it's not only the words, it's not only the sounds that are coming out of the speaker's mouth. Ang mahalaga when you are actually paying attention, all right? You are also going to recognize the nonverbal communication. Pag sinabi nating nonverbal communication, these are movements. These are the actions that the speaker might be doing or you might be doing na nakakaapekto doon sa process ng pakikinig. So it's very important na yung actions natin should be reflecting to what we really think. So for example, kung talagang nakikinig tayo, it should show to our action. You're not doing anything. Or at the same time, di ba sinasabi natin that action speaks louder than words? We know if a person is sincere or not based on their nonverbal communications. Okay, so that's for number one. So don't forget that. Number one, among the five key active listening techniques is we have to pay attention. Okay, so let's go back to the list. Number two is showing that you're listening. So how do we do it? Okay? So, use your body language and gestures that you are engaged. So, hindi naman kailangan na laging gumagalaw yung mga katawan natin, ano? So, you will be funny if you're going to do that. So, if it's just needed, so just like right now, it's more comfortable for me to explain to you things if I let my hands move like that, as long as it's appropriate to what you are saying. Kasi kapag you are moving na nakaka-distract, if I'm not mistaken, we call it mannerism. It's like yung mga movements na nakaka-distract doon sa ating communication. So definitely hindi naman yun yung tinutukoy ng ating explanation. So body language gestures, those movements that can help you express better. So encourage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments like yes and aha. That's why even in our virtual class like this in ETUlay, Tutor Drazel and I are encouraging you to send us your responses, because through that, even though we don't hear your voices saying yes or aha, we know and we get to understand that you get what we are talking about. All right, that's correct, Mark. You said that nonverbal gestures can convey meanings. That's very good, because when you move your hands, when you do some action, especially when you are doing some public speaking, it's definitely giving or conveying us a meaning. So we have to be very careful and be mindful of that. So, syempre, we don't just say yes and aha all the time because at times, if you are doing it too much, medyo nakaka-annoy naman siya. Or when we say annoy, it's like nakakainis naman pakinggan. It's like parang hindi siya magandang pakinggan. So we just say that just to give a heads up or just to give the speaker that you are still listening, right? Okay, so that's for number two. Okay, so we're going back to the list again. For number three, you have to provide feedback. Okay, so let's find out what feedback is in our explanation here. Our filters, assumptions, judgments, and beliefs can distort what we hear. So it's given in our activity earlier. Okay? So yun daw ating mga personal na nararamdaman, personal na nasa isipan natin, our judgments, our bias, for example, can distort what we hear. So what does it mean, Tutor Arnel? There are times na, well, it happens, ano? So if we don't like a person, 'di ba? If you don't like a person and then you heard something from that person, sometimes we treat that negatively, right? Or at times if we really like the person is our friend, whatever we hear from that person, we tend to accept that easily. All right? So that's what we call the assumptions or the judgments that we have, and that actually distorts what we hear. So as a listener, your role is to understand what is being said. So number one, class, when a speaker is talking and you are the listener, it's very important that you understand everything what is said to you because you will benefit from it. All right? Ikaw yung unang magbe-benefit when you are listening to what is being said. So this may require you to reflect on what is being said and to ask questions. All right? So another reaction from Mark. I'm glad that Mark is actively listening right now. Mark Platon said, respond in a correct manner so you can give feedback in a cordial way. Yes, that's correct. I love your word, Mark. So cordial, magalang, or a courteous way of responding. So pwede naman tayong magbigay ng feedback, gaya nga ng sinasabi na, pero it has to be polite, in a polite manner. All right? So how do we give feedback? All right, we can actually give a person what we think, or we can actually express our opinion. If we like it or if we do agree with it, then definitely that's an example of what we call feedback. All right, so let's continue. And right after number three, we have deferred judgment. So earlier, when I was preparing our lesson, okay, when I was preparing for our lesson, I checked on a simpler meaning of the word defer, and I found that defer is to postpone or to uh, not to be so quick. Okay, so it says here that active listening is designed to encourage respect and understanding. So you are gaining information and perspective when you are actively listening. So you add nothing by attacking the speaker or otherwise putting him or her down. Okay, so when we say defer judgment, it's very important that when we listen to something, all right, it's like we have to reflect first. Pag-isipan po muna natin. Yes, thank you so much, Janet. To delay or to defer when we say, yeah, defer. Okay, so well, when we are actively listening, when we are listening to someone, we have to think first and we have to reflect first whether what we heard is right or whether what we listened to is actually what was really meant by the speaker. So usually we have these miscommunications whenever we immediately react to what we heard, diba? So, okay, yes, Judah Paulo G. Alvarez, hello. I'm glad that you are listening and watching here right now. So, well, going back to our discussion, you add nothing by attacking the speaker, otherwise putting her down, in a sense that what you are just going to react or what you are just going to give as a feedback should be based on what was given. Okay? And of course, for number five, you have to respond appropriately. So I'm glad that Mark Platon mentioned about cordially or courteously responding or giving feedback. That's very important. Okay? So that's correct, Mark. Deferring judgment can be done by listening with reflective manner. So pag-iisipan or magre-reflect po tayo. All right? So it says here, interrupting is a waste of time. So, halimbawa, may kausap tayo and then we always interrupt them, we always ask them to stop and express what you want dun sa sinasabi niya, that's going to waste the time of you conversing with a person. Why? Because it frustrates the speaker and limits full understanding of the message. Alright? So, 'di ba, kung ikaw yung speaker, when you talk to a person and the person you are talking to is always interrupting you or is always telling something about what you are saying without them knowing the whole context yet, all right, then definitely that's going to frustrate the speaker, or you're going to be frustrated. It's like you don't want to share anymore, or you don't want to speak anymore. So for us to avoid that, even in our classroom, when we go back face to face, we have to respond appropriately to our classmates, to our teachers, so that we will be able to have wonderful uh, discussion and at the same time exchange of ideas in the class through active listening. All right, so those are 5 key active listening techniques that we learned today. So don't forget that number one, for you to practice active listening, you have to pay attention. Number two, you have to show that you're listening. Number three, you have to provide feedback politely or cordially. Number four is to defer judgment or to delay judgment first by reflecting. And number five, you have to respond appropriately. Okay. All right, so now this time we are going to have our activity. So students, let us now be ready and let our keyboards be active as we answer our activity. So what is our direction? You have to type yes if the given situation shows active listening technique, and no if not. So are you ready? Let's see what we have here. Number one, hand movements and facial reactions can affect listening. All right, do you agree with that or not? So if you agree, type yes. And if you don't agree with the first statement, you type no. So what is the answer? So keep typing your answers now. Okay, so while we are waiting for their answers, let me just read some readings here. So we have Jeneline Alam. All right, so from grade 7. All right, so she said that listening to the news, oh, sorry, from Diamantina High School. All right, Diamantina, Kabatuan, Isabela. All right. Oh, we have already have answers here. Okay, so Jerzel Durance said yes. Jimwell Astor said yes. Mark Platon said yes. All right, Janet said yes. Okay, so let's see if the answer is correct. Yes, okay, that would definitely affect listening. So facial reactions and hand movements. Okay, number two. All right, number two, reacting to the speaker by saying uh-huh or yes is a good sign of active listening. All right, is that yes or no? Okay, so let's see your answers. Wow, for number one, a lot of you typed in yes. How about for number two? Okay, if I can just read your answers all or your names, all of you. Okay, so let's see. Number two. Okay, so some of you have typed their answers already. So Krisha Rain said yes. Pauline said yes. All right, John Kevin said yes. Tricia said yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Jimbo said yes. All right, Mark said no with question mark. Not sure, Mark. Okay, so let's see if that's the correct answer. Okay, yes. All right. Yes, remember Mark that we definitely give the speaker this heads up, or we just give the speaker this feeling that you are listening when you say uh-huh or yes while they are talking. But of course in a different situation. If the speaker is in a big event, all right, you can just say nod your head so that you will give the speaker a signal that you are listening. Okay, the third one, number 3. Interruptions help us to develop active listening. Interruptions help us to develop active listening. So what is that? Do you agree with it? Yes or no? So that's for number 3. Okay, so please type in your answers. Don't forget to put the number before your answer. So Pauline when Ramirez said no. John, okay, so John Louis the Piawen said no. J.M. Bartolome said no. Tricia Cartagena said no. Stephanie said no. All right, a lot of you said no. Let's see. Okay, yes. All right. It's not developing the listening skill, and it's definitely frustrating to the speaker when you are interrupting them when they are expressing themselves. Okay, let's have the fourth one. Okay, it says here, we must reflect on what we heard. We must reflect on what we heard first before we react. Is that a yes or a no? We must reflect on what we heard first before we react. Okay, don't forget to put your answer. Don't forget to put numbers before your answers. Okay, John Ronald Apuyan said yes. Yancy Kisay said yes. Mark Hakutin said yes. Rianet Soriano said yes, and the rest of the gang said yes. Let's see if your answers are all correct. Yes. Okay, we have to reflect so that we will avoid misunderstanding. And let's have the fifth one. Personal filters, assumptions, judgments, and beliefs won't affect listening. Personal filters, judgments, and beliefs won't affect listening. So, is that a yes or no? Okay, so, all right, we already have an answer. So, Pauline, okay, nawala. Bilis. All right, Pauline Buen Ramirez said no. Yancy said no. All right, Nino said no. John Karchevet said no. Lorraine Hibe said no. Daniela said no. Let's see. Yes, it definitely affects listening. All right, the information that we receive from what we are hearing or listening to can affect uh, the message or the ones that we heard. Okay, so before I forget and before I get excited to go to the next slide, I want to know your scores. So please send me a thumbs up this time. Thumbs up if you were able to get a perfect score. Okay, so let's see if we're going to see a lot of thumbs up here. Okay, so hi, Ezel Reconesis Soto. Okay, so Kian Vinluan got a perfect score. Congratulations. All right, Jiro got a perfect score. Okay, so Janet got perfect score. Samantha Blasi got a perfect score. Judah Paulo Alvarez had a perfect score. Tricia Cartagena got a perfect score. And a lot more. Okay, so I'm so happy. Oh, it's okay, William, if you got four, as long as you are continuously learning our lessons here at ETUlay. Okay, so I'm glad to see that a lot of you are getting a perfect score. So I guess it's just fitting for us to go to the next part of our lesson, which is evaluating one's knowledge. We're going to listen. Oh, this time you're going to practice your active listening skills. I am going to read a short passage about COVID-19. It's very relevant. Note down the important details of the passage and prepare for some questions later. Okay? So here's the passage. So about COVID-19. Okay, so let's read it. So listen while I read it. Okay, so let's start. Coronaviruses or COV are large family of viruses that can cause illness ranging from common cold to more severe diseases such as Middle East Respiratory Syndrome or MERS-CoV and severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS-CoV. A novel coronavirus or NCOV is a new strain that has not been previously identified in humans. Coronaviruses are zoonotic, meaning they are transmitted between animals and people. Detailed investigations found that SARS-CoV was transmitted from civet cats to humans and MERS-CoV from dromedary camels to humans. So several known coronaviruses are circulating in animals that have not yet infected humans. Common signs of infection include respiratory symptoms like fever, cough, shortness of breath, and breathing difficulties. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia, severe acute respiratory syndrome, kidney failure, and even death. Standard recommendations to prevent infection spread include regular hand washing, covering mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, thoroughly cooking meat and eggs, Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness such as coughing and sneezing. All right. So, well, let us try if you are able to hear the ones or if you are able to listen carefully to the ones I read. Okay, so you're going to tell me whether this is true or not. Okay, so type in if it's true or false. Number one is novel coronavirus or NCOV is a new strain that has not been previously identified in humans. So is that true or false? Okay, so please type in your answer. Is that information included to the one I read? If you really listen to what I read for you. Okay, so most of you typed in true. Okay, good job. That's true. So you really listened to me earlier. Number two, coronavirus is zoonotic, meaning the virus can be transmitted from one human to another human. Is it true or false? Okay, so a lot of you are still sending their answers from the first sentence. Now that we are in the second sentence, all right, so some of you said it's true, others said it's false. All right, I'll repeat. Coronavirus is zoonotic, meaning the virus can be transferred from one human to another human. Okay, let's see. All right, the correct answer is false. All right, why is it false? Because zoonotic means from animals to humans. All right, so it was in the text that I read to you earlier. That's why the correct answer is false. All right, number three. Coronavirus may affect not only the respiratory system, but also other vital organs like the kidneys. Is it true or false? Okay, so a lot of you are still typing in their answers. It's for number three. All right, so we have JM Bartolome said false. Okay. All right, Yancy said true. Okay. Mark said it's true. Another said false. Okay, let's find out if that's the correct answer. Okay, the correct answer is true. Di ba dun sa latter part ng article, it says there that coronavirus also affects, all right, and may also infect other vital organs. It may actually cause kidney failure. All right, next, number four, we should avoid getting close contact to those showing symptoms of respiratory illnesses like sneezing and coughing. We should avoid getting close contact to those who I'm sorry about that, who are showing symptoms of respiratory illnesses like sneezing and coughing. So there's a typographical error. I'm so sorry about that. So we just have to add R to it. Those who are showing symptoms of respiratory illnesses like sneezing or coughing. All right, is that true or false? The correct answer is true. You have to avoid. That's why we should practice social distancing. And number five, cooking our food thoroughly can help us avoid COVID-19 virus. Mhm. Okay, so is it true or false for number five? Okay, so you still are typing your answers for number four. Said true. Okay, number five. Okay, Janet already typed in said true. Okay, Dylan said true. Don't forget to include the number. Yancy said true. John Ronald said true. Aaron Frederick Garcia said it's true. Let's see if that's the correct answer. Yes. Okay, it's true that not only hand washing, but also cooking can actually help us avoid the virus. Okay, so before I get excited again to the next slide, let us see who got the perfect score here. So this time you send me okay, heart react. Okay, let me see a heart react for those who were able to get a perfect score for this activity. All right, let me see. Okay, we're waiting for the scores. Wow, congratulations, Julia, Poldo, Yancy Kisai, Princess Siren, Tyrone Diezmo, who got perfect scores. All right, Crystal, Judah Paula Alvarez got a heart as well, got a perfect score too. All right, congratulations, students, for all of you who got perfect scores. Okay, now for our generalizing learning in connection to the celebration of the National Children's Month celebration, please answer the following question. All right, so it says here, how does active listening help to keep you updated in the new normal? All right. So type in your answers in the comment section. Okay, so now since it's National Children's Month, all right, so let me hear your answer to this question. So you might be called out, all right, in our comment section. So type in, how does active listening help you keep updated in the new normal? So you can just simply type a simple sentence or simple response to this question that we have for generalizing learning. Okay, so you're still typing in your heart react. Okay, congratulations for those who got a perfect score. And for those who were not, it's just okay if you did not get a perfect score. So next time you try harder and get a perfect score. Okay, so thank you, Mark, for your answer. Mark said active listening can help me respond correctly. That's correct. Okay, so how about the others? How does active listening help you? Okay, active listening can keep you safe from viruses. Yes. Okay, so for example, if there are news, telling you to go away from these places, then definitely it's going to keep you safe from the viruses. Thank you so much, Janet Flood Patayon, for your answer. So Yancy said it will help us to easily understand information. Yes, that's correct. Tyrone El Diezmo said it helps us learn more even if we're not able to do face-to-face classes. Yeah, we all know that we miss being in the classroom, but listening actively in our virtual classes will help us get or keep ourselves updated. So Lorraine Hebe said active listening helps us to understand one side. We can prevent spreading false rumors and fake news because in times of difficulty, we need to be aware of our surroundings. Wow, Lorraine, that's a very wonderful answer. Okay, so good job. So, well, let's check it out. Danet Gansatao. In this time of new normal, active listening has helped us understand many information about COVID-19, and it has also helped us as a lot of students to learn more lessons in life. Wow, you know what, students? I'm so proud that you were able to express your answers very well in our lessons concerning this question. So if I can just give you plus 5 in your recitation right now, I will do so because all of your answers are correct. Thank you so much. I can't read all, but as I see it here, all of your answers are definitely great. Okay, so let us summarize what we learned today, students. So don't forget that listening and speaking could be the same in a way that both of these skills are receptive. So tandaan natin, pag sinabi natin receptive, it's like nagda-download tayo. We get to download information using these two skills. But there are differences too. When we are reading, we can always go back kapag hindi natin naintindihan. However, for listening, you cannot do that anymore, all right? What you are going to do is to listen with understanding because what you have listened to a speaker, you may not be able to hear it again, all right? You may not ask the speaker to repeat what he or she said. So that's why you have to understand everything that are being told to you or being discussed to you. And of course, we also learned about our 5 key active listening skills. So we have our active listening techniques. So we have number 1, pay attention. Number 2, you have to show that you're listening. Number 3, you have to provide feedback. Number 4, you have to defer judgment. And number 5, you have to respond appropriately. So I hope you will not forget these 5 key active listening techniques. And of course, let us check it out if we were able to fulfill all of our objectives in our lesson. So, of course, we have our first objective, identify the key active listening skills. Suggest practices that encourage one's practice of active listening, and of course, exhibit listening skills through virtual participation in the class. And I guess all of you, I don't just guess, but I am definitely sure that all of you were able to meet, and even I was able to meet these objectives for today. So for your assignment, all right, so don't forget this, that active listening can help us get important information. So students, let's slow down a bit. Now for your assignment, interview a family member and ask their opinion about the theme of the National Children's Month. Share their answers in our class next meeting. So I will wait for your answers, ha? So 5 active listening skills, you have to apply it while you are interviewing. Just ask them about the theme, okay? I'm sorry. Okay, yung theme natin is new normal na walang iwanan, karapatan ng bawat bata ating tutukan. So, just ask your mom, your dad, or anyone in your family, and then share their answers in our class next time. And of course, I would like to show you that you can submit your answers to Tutor Drace's page and to my personal Facebook account while I am still working on my Facebook page. All right. And of course, our exit assessment. So if you do have your phone, please scan it. Scan the QR code or the copy link below and answer the Google form for the exit assessment. And for the evaluation feedback. So how did Tutor Arnel teach you the lesson today? Please be honest, because I would really appreciate it if you are going to give me your honest feedback about the way I taught you this lesson. All right, so we are nearing the end of our discussion of our session. So again, this is your tutor Arnel, and earlier Tutor Drace, and even up until now, Tutor Drace is here with us. Don't forget to be with us every Tuesday at 1:40 to 2:20 for you to learn something more about English, lessons in English 7. And of course, please support our team, the English Junior High School, because all of these teachers are definitely good and will give you a lot of insights and lessons about English. Yay! Hooray! Thank you so much, students, for watching. Up next, we have Tutor Rubeline and Tutor Jovet for English 8. Yay! Tutor Drazel, I made it!
Yes,
Bye-bye.
congratulations, Tutor Ernell. And thank you very much for those people who watch us today and continue watching us. So a special shout out to everybody who enjoyed and learned, especially my students who are here with me, who are with us. Ayan, they are still asking for the last shout out now. So let us have that request. Ezel Soto, Shakayer Solis, and Arvic Erosa. Ayan, that
Yes.
is now given. So thank you very much to everybody, and bye everyone. Congratulations, Shooter Arnel.
Thank you. Thank you so much, students, as well. Bye-bye.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag ETUlay Level Up. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!